welcome back to my channel. My name is Dammie. If you're seeing my face for the very first time, I am a Nigerian based in Brisbane, Australia. And if you're on this channel for the very first time, I share about my experience living in Australia as a mom, as a wife, and every amazing thing you can think of. So basically what this channel does is just to let people who are coming into Australia or Brisbane for the very first time know what it is like, things like basic information you need to settle down, how I experienced so far, and things like that. And if that's something you're interested in, please make sure you do click on the subscribe button before you leave today. Okay, it's been a while I filmed a sit down video, so if this is all, just know that I'm just getting back into the mood. But with that said, in today's video I just want to address so before I got this message, which I'm going to put up shortly, I had it on my I'm just bringing out my jotter that I use when I have thoughts of filming. I've had this topic before now, but now I'm going to streamline it to address a comment I got on a very old video yesterday. So initially my topic was to say outside the bliss and glamour of living in Australia. That has always been on my mind to film, and I had my point already. But yesterday I actually got a message from someone. I'll paste it here. You can actually pause to read through. But in summary, what the person was saying is, I'm not being honest. Black people face inequality and things like that. And this person was commenting on a video where I said 7 reasons why I love living in Australia. I responded to her. You will also see my response there. But trust me guys, I said living in Australia is perfect, and I usually would say there's racism, there's all those things, but it depends on how you want to see things for yourself. I choose to see the positive side, and when things go wrong I usually film about it when I get the chance to. But enough said, I've responded to that person. But yeah, I'm like, okay, I think it's time I film this other video that has been on my mind, which is outside the bliss and glamour of living in Australia. I know that we all make it look it's perfect, it is good. Like I said in my response to that person, if you read, I said I cannot and I will never trade living in Australia with anywhere else. I love it here and I'm here for good. That's it. That's it on period. But outside the bliss and glamour, there are other things that are not perfect. So I'm going to go through. I have 5 points I'm going to be addressing today. The number one thing that it may be a shocker to you and you should know is the fact that distance, like I've always said it, distance. Australia is very far from home, especially for me because I am from Nigeria. It's very far. So God forbid if there's an emergency at home now, I would think twice, 3 times before I buy a ticket and jump on a plane. Compared to if I was living in the UK, it's just 6 hours. And it's not just the distance. The ticket is very expensive as well. It is not cheap. It is not cheap at all. It's been a while I checked tickets in Nigeria, but I know that it is not cheap. That's just what I would say. I don't even want to go into how much I spent for my parents and things like that. But it is not cheap. You can as well check by yourself. So the distance sometimes can be very challenging and might just not be the best decision for some people if you really want to be close to home. So that's the distance. Number 2 thing is no family support close by, which also talks to distance, right? So no family. Of course you'll make friends and as you go along the way, but it's just difficult settling in when you first start. When you first arrive, there's no family close by. There's no, I feel on Instagram the other day I posted a video where I was saying, oh God, I was running late to pick my kids, I was panicking and everything. I don't have anybody that I have that kind of relationship with. I don't have any family member I can say, hey, can you quickly help me pick up my kids, I'm running late, I'm on my way, and things like that. I remember when I was in Lagos, my sister used to stay very close to me, and when I'm running late, I'll just say, hey Dara, please can you help me pick up the kids? Even don't take them away from the school, just go there, collect them from the childcare or minder, just out of their custody so that they don't charge us or start. And here there's a thing, we've read it before, it has not happened to us, that if you go and pick your kids late beyond certain times, they will drop them at the police station. I feel like mentally it's not just good for the kids, because how on earth would they find themselves at the police station because their parents came late to pick them up at school? It has not happened to me before, but it's in the school policies and guidelines and things like that, or school handbook. So You never want to get to a situation where your kids are at the police station, right? Not having family close by is hard, and as an adult it is very hard to build adult friendship that you build to that certain level where you can call a friend to go and pick up. Yeah, not having friends, family close by is just hard. Like now, for instance, our 10 years anniversary is around the corner, and my preferred choice of treats for me and my hobby would be for us to like get a time away from the kids. I love my kids before somebody will come from. I love my kids to bits. You don't love them more than I do, but it would have been nice if we could get some time away just for both of us together, reflect. It's 10 years, babe. Like, we don't have any anniversary party, nothing, just some time to ourselves. We cannot do that because of course we don't have family around. There's no one to keep the kids with. If my parents were here, or if my sister was in Australia. My brother is actually in Australia, but he lives in Melbourne, so it's even far. Like, even living in the same country is still a distance as well. So because going to Melbourne, I was checking the ticket this morning, for the four of us is about almost $1,000 for the four of us to go to Melbourne. So yeah, it is not cheap. Family is very far. So that's one of the things you should consider as well. If Australia is for you, if it's not for you, it's not for you to make that call based on that. The other one is also still getting help, right? In Nigeria, you had the opportunity to get domestic staff. Like, people will have drivers, they will have cleaners, they will have all of those things at a very cheap price, because the minimum wage in Nigeria is very low. You are able to get all of these things at very minute amount or immaterial amount. But here, if you have a cleaner, it is luxury, if you ask me. When I check how much cleaners are collecting and I look at my oh my god, that was funny. But yeah, true. If you have a cleaner, it's luxury. Or to me, to somebody else it might not be. To me, it's luxury, because by the time I check how much you're collecting, and I'll check it, if I do it myself, I'll get to work immediately. Like, there are many times I've contemplated getting a cleaner for our house because of the size, but by the time I check my account balance, it's speaking another language. But back in Nigeria, I'm not one that uses house help, to be honest. When I was in Nigeria, I tried house help twice and it didn't end well. So I stopped it. But at least I had people who would come home every week, not every weekend, just when I need them to help me clean. Like, I can easily get all those things around. But here it is very hard to get things like that. Even when I had Tofu Minuli, I had a nanny for him, that she wasn't living with us, but she comes before I go to work and then leaves after I come back from work. And then it made my life so easy. I could call her at work, hey mama, can you help me bring out this from the freezer? Can you help me prep beans? Can you things like that. But here you don't get anything like that. You're just doing things by yourself, and it's just what it is. It's just what it is. So you don't get, like, labor is not cheap. Yeah, I think I should put it that way. And that takes me to my very next point, which is DIY. Man, in Australia, you have to do everything by yourself, and it is not easy. It is not funny. I used to have a home decor. I still do, even though it's not very functional anymore. But I used to have a home decor store in Lagos, and then when I sell, they call it flat pack. When I sell, I sell things like, oh god, what do I say? For instance, even this chair I'm sitting on, these are type of things I sell, right? And this I bought from IKEA. It came in a flat pack. I had to assemble myself. Like, the day I assembled these things, I posted on Instagram. Yeah, if you're not following me on Instagram, you're missing, because every day I always have tea. So I assembled this chair myself in Lagos. By the time somebody is asking, oh, does it come assembled, and I say no, they usually, maybe they won't buy, or they're like, can you get me someone who can assemble it, or can you assemble it and I will send Uber to come and pick up. That was always a challenge. Whereas in this country, everything come flat pack, like in flat boxes, and you have to do it yourself, because if you cannot do it yourself, you're going to be paying premium. When we moved here and we needed to assemble a lot of things, even this table, this is my office desk, I have a chair, I don't know if you guys can see it, I have a cupboard behind me. We needed to assemble all those things. It cost a whopping lot of money. The guy was charging us per hour, or I think the first time it was relatively cheap, but by the time he came back the second time, it was charging us a whole lot of money. Even the third time when we wanted to call him, he's like, the guy, the more he comes to our house, the more he charged us. So the third time my husband was like, this money is too much, I beg you should not come. And we got to work by ourselves, but it was really helpful those first 2 times, let me not lie to you, because the kids bed was quite hard to set up. Our bed, all these things, they were hard to set up, so we did not have a choice than to use him. And Obi was busy at the time, so he felt I would rather go to work, make this money, and pay this guy. It made economic sense at the time, but for me, I don't know, me, I cannot afford some of these things. That's what I would say. And lastly, just going back to that comment I mentioned earlier as well from that lady, experience as a black person. She said I'm not being honest. I have a video that addresses experience as a black person in a corporate environment. So I'll link that video up here for you to watch and see for yourself my experience in the office space. I don't think, see, I will not deny the fact that maybe there's racism or there's not racism. I won't go into that in the office. But what I would say is, I don't think I've ever been denied. I might not know, but I don't think I've ever been denied any promotion or benefits in the office because I'm black. I don't believe so. I'm 100% about that. I don't believe so. I've received favor from people despite being black in the office. Even things I did not expect has happened to me. So that's number one. Number two is outside of the office space. The only challenge I would say is that sometimes there are not a lot of black people here. I went on like anytime I go on vacation by myself or with the kids, I'm almost always the only black person there. Like, it makes me, of course, for a second look like, ooh, I'm different. But I don't know, people are generally nice. And please, when I'm saying all those things, bear in mind, some people are mean. They are who they are. Like I always say, even back home, people were mean to me. So am I saying a fellow black person is racist to me? Like, make it make sense. So people are who they are. Trust me, people will be mean, some people will be nice. It's just human beings. It's not because you're black or because of your color. There are certain people who have also said, because I sent this message to certain people and somebody said, oh, because you're in a corporate environment and there's just a system that works, hence why you've been privileged not to experience any of this, or you've not been opportune to experience any of this. People who work in maybe disability, sometimes they don't make them team leader because they are black and things like that. I don't know how true this is. I have not worked in the system, and like I've not worked in that environment. I don't know how things work. But trust me, if you're good, I feel like if you're good and you have God, they can't deny you what belongs to you. That's what I'll say. If you're good, you know what you're doing, you're diligent at it, and you know God, you trust in God, you pray to God, God will favor you. You can't work so hard and God will watch you suffer. You know what I mean? So I don't know what people's experiences are. Like I said, I don't want to belittle anyone's experience, but that has not been my experience, and I'm not going to sit here and just belittle people's experience and things like that. But yeah, that's just it. And then I think my final point is cost of childcare is very expensive. If you're coming to Australia and your child is below 5, just knowing that you're going to be whooping a lot of money for childcare. And that's the talks back to family, friends around. If you have them, it might be cheaper on you because you can always interchange and keep kids with people, which is not the best anyways. But cost of childcare is very expensive in Australia. The minimum you find for any child below 5 years that is not of school age, because school age here is 5, you'll be paying about $110 a day if you don't have permanent residency. And if you have permanent residency, you'll be paying about $50 depending on your household income. For us, for instance, at the moment, our Centrelink is about 50% off, whereas some people, they have 75. I have a friend who has just one household. They have one income in the family, so they get 75% off. For us, because we are both working, we get maybe 50 or 45. I'm not sure. Hobby is the one in charge of all those things, so I don't know. But yeah, depend on your income you get. But if you don't have permanent residency and you want to put your child in childcare, you'll be paying about 110. It's a lot of money. So those are the things you should consider when moving to Australia. We were lucky enough that when we came, we found a Nigerian woman who had a family daycare, and that was what we used at the teething stage when we needed it. And in no time, my daughter became of age and she did not go there again. But she's no more in Australia at the moment, sadly. So I don't know anyone around doing that type of business. But yeah, those are the things I feel like my overall experiences outside the glitz and glamour, the distance, no help, DIY, cost of childcare. Those are the things I feel overall people don't talk about enough outside oh, Australia is nice, there's money here. Yeah, those are the few things I would say. Racism, everybody have different experience, but I've said what my experiences are. If I face any other challenge outside of the ordinary, I'll definitely come and sit down here and talk to you guys about it. But yeah, I hope that addresses some of your questions, concerns about Australia. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please make sure you give this video a thumbs up. If you have any question or you want to be clear about anything I've mentioned or any other thing whatsoever, feel free to drop me a message here, like in the comment section, or DM me on Instagram. I'll put my Instagram handle on the up. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.